On World News Tonight this Wednesday, the investigation of that terrible train crash. Everything points to the truck driver. Marijuana as mainstream medicine, a major new report. A closer look at the future of cars, technology that actually prevents car accidents before they happen. And the spirit of the samurai in bagpipes.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. The question for investigators working in Bourbonnais, Illinois tonight: what happened in the final seconds before that Amtrak train slammed into a tractor trailer Monday night? Did the truck's driver cause the tragedy? Investigators lowered the casualty figures for the crash today. They say 11 people were killed, not 13. More than 100 were injured. And here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
Accident investigators were pointing squarely in one direction today, toward the truck driver. The train engineer has said he saw the truck on the crossing that night with the gates down and the lights flashing. Tire marks on the pavement at the crossing are being compared to the tire treads on the truck involved to see if there is evidence driver John Stokes tried to snake his rig around the lowered barriers as the southbound train approached at 80 miles an hour. And the trucking company Stokes worked for was suddenly being reviewed by state and federal authorities, poring over training and service records. But there was also the suggestion from people who live here that running the train tracks is not uncommon. Residents have loading and unloading of stationary rail cars.
And a lot of people just go around the guardrails because guardrails automatically go down even when the train's just sitting there.
The truck driver's boss indicated more serious problems.
There had been irregularities in them gates in the local area in that last 6 miles for the last 3 weeks.
But recorded data from the train, the tracks, and the signals have turned up no evidence of malfunctions. The scorched shell of the doomed sleeper car was of immense interest today, not only to grieving families, but also to the coroner, searching for more victims. The track was reopened for freight trains earlier today, and Amtrak's City of New Orleans was to resume service later this evening. And that train will be coming by here earlier than usual today because tonight, investigators will be staging a reenactment of the crash to finally determine which version of what happened here can stand up. Charlie?
All right, thank you. Dean Reynolds in Bourbonnais, Illinois. As we told you yesterday, trains collide with trucks and cars every day in this country, and today was no different. Near Wichita, Kansas, a dump truck was thrown from the tracks by a freight train. The driver died. And on Long Island, New York, a commuter train plowed into a truck. That driver survived. There is a report out today that is certain to set off a new round of debate about whether marijuana is a harmful drug or a helpful one. Today, those who argue that marijuana is medically useful got a big boost from the Institute of Medicine. ABC's George Strait reports.
The panel said there is now no question about the potential medical benefits of marijuana's active ingredients called cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids appear to hold potential for treating pain, chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting, and the poor appetite and wasting caused by AIDS.
But the researchers said that potential has never been rigorously tested because of the politics and passion surrounding this drug. 5 Western states have passed initiatives allowing the medical use of marijuana, but the federal government has vigorously opposed any weakening of the laws against marijuana and has promised to crack down on doctors who prescribe it.
I don't think that the government was willing to supply marijuana for a clinical trial that might demonstrate that the drug had some medicinal benefit.
The Institute of Medicine says that attitude should change. It called for immediate clinical trials. And the panel said patients should be given the drug in pill form or an inhaler should be developed because smoking marijuana is dangerous.
Thereby increasing their chance for cancer, lung damage, and problems with pregnancies, including low birth weight.
The drug czar General Barry McCaffrey had been opposed to any medical use of marijuana. The new study has changed his mind and is sure to rekindle the debate. George Strait, ABC News, Washington.
One other medical note tonight, a study being published in the New England Journal of Medicine finds that people who suffer frequent heartburn and acid reflux run a much higher risk of developing cancer of the esophagus. The study finds that taking antacids will not reduce that danger. In Switzerland today, the president of the International Olympic Committee, Juan Antonio Samaranch, got what he wanted, a vote of confidence in his leadership and the expulsion of 6 IOC members for corruption. Samaranch acknowledges the IOC is, quote, on trial. But critics ask, where are the reforms? ABC's Sheila McVicker is in Lausanne tonight.
The IOC members left for their crucial meeting in buses and not their infamous limousines, an attempt by the IOC president to signal that he is ready for change.
During these last weeks, we worked very, very hard finding ways that this situation, and I would like to repeat, never happen again.
But so far, there are no clear signs of plans for serious reform. Samaranch tried to change the rules to restrict IOC members from traveling to bid cities, but the members have flatly rejected that idea. Paul Woolwork, one of those expelled from the IOC today, questions the IOC's sincerity.
Unless they change the system itself and stop members from going over to see the cities, I don't think they'll ever stop.
In a letter to the IOC this week, Senator John McCain warned he will investigate the IOC's tax-exempt status in hearings next month. Without quick reform, he said, quote, the demand for Congress to act will be irrepressible. But Olympic sources say the American pressure is resented here and that the IOC is now determined to act on its own, much slower schedule.
We're starting to deliver on what we've said from the beginning of this crisis, that we are going to put our own house in order.
As for Juan Antonio Samaranch, he still refuses to accept responsibility for what happened to the IOC. But with a new vote of confidence in his leadership, he faces no pressure here to step down. Sheila McVicker, ABC News, Lausanne.
In Phoenix today, the National Football League owners voted overwhelmingly to bring back instant replay next season. It's been gone from the league since 1991. There were a number of blatant mistakes by officials in the league last season. On the money today, on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped further below 10,000, down 51 points to close at 98.79. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down 10 points. The last big private brokerage house on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, is about to make a $24 billion stock offering. The proceeds to be divided among the employees. 220 partners will get an average of $50 million each. Secretaries could get bonuses of $25,000, janitors about $10,000. When we come back, trying to get the hard men to give up the guns in Northern Ireland. And running on hydrogen, a closer look at the future of cars.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Aleve.
Here's a new idea. A pain reliever from Aleve that goes to work fast and lasts all day. Introducing new Aleve gel caps. Like most gel caps, they go to work fast, but Aleve gel caps do more than work fast. They have the strength to work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. Look, if your pain reliever starts fast but won't last, get one that does it all. New Aleve gel caps, 2 pills, all-day relief. Works for me.
I come by this honestly. My grandparents were farmers. I've made bouquets for people for years, and people finally said, why don't you start selling those things? I think the secret behind a lot of this has to do with Miracle-Gro. Miracle-Gro has produced very sturdy plants, long stems, big blossoms. Look at the color. What more could I ask for? The compliment has to go to Miracle-Gro.
Now give your new transplants a fast start with Miracle-Gro Quick Start.
So your client is asking for 9 cup holders in a 7-passenger vehicle?
Backup beverages, Jack.
And your client wants a disappearing 3rd seat. What is this, a magic show?
You ever try taking one of those things out?
My client doesn't think we even need a 3rd seat.
Objection. My client sleeps back there.
The all-new, easy-to-use, something for everyone Honda Odyssey. It's one big happy minivan.
It's my biggest story ever.
Let's run with it. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Exactly.
What tipped you off?
Let's just say there was something in the air.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns,
There's bound to be one where you're headed. You can pretty much bet on it. Days in. There you go.
President Clinton is meeting with Catholic and Protestant leaders from Northern Ireland in Washington tonight, and he's urging them to follow the example of St. Patrick, the day's patron saint, and preserve their peace agreement reached nearly a year ago. It is now in some danger. ABC's Richard Gisbert reports from Belfast tonight.
The St. Patrick's Day parade used to be confined to Catholic areas of Belfast to keep the two sides apart. Now it winds right into the mixed heart of the city.
It's a sign of the times maybe this is changing, and everybody has to have a bit of toleration for everybody else's views, you know.
There are still reminders of the hatred. A well-known Protestant fighter shot to death today. A Catholic human rights lawyer brutally murdered earlier this week. Then there's the issue that threatens the peace process, the guns. One of the flaws in last year's peace agreement was that the two sides could not agree on disarming their paramilitary forces, or decommissioning, as they call it here. So the issue was set aside, only to re-emerge a year later. One Protestant force has turned over a few guns that were ceremoniously destroyed, and police have confiscated some weapons from the Irish Republican Army. But the IRA refuses to hand over any more of what's believed to be a very large arsenal.
You're looking at a minimum of 1,500 AK-47s, hundreds and hundreds of other assorted rifles, submachine guns, 1.5 tons of Semtex, hand grenades, rocket launchers, a few SAM-7s.
Investigators believe there are thousands of small stockpiles buried underground or concealed in stone walls that crisscross the countryside. Northern Ireland's guerrilla armies are so well armed, a small handover of weapons won't diminish their capabilities. But the gesture would be symbolically important. And in a peace process, symbols like the parade today matter. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Belfast.
In Paris tonight, the Kosovo peace talks are close to collapse. The Serbs are making more demands and refusing to discuss a NATO peacekeeping force. Separately, an international report on the murder of 40 ethnic Albanians in January called that a crime against humanity, saying the victims were civilians lined up and shot. Also today, NATO's American commander warned that the Serbs are prepared to resume fighting on a very large scale. All these are signs of what could be coming. ABC's Jim Wooten is in Kosovo tonight.
All across the province, these are familiar scenes. A village in flames. A village where no one lives anymore, burned and looted by Serb soldiers and police. One more ghost town, one of many. This is another, though it looks much the same. No one left to read a sign that forbids the dumping of garbage. This is what Serb troops have done to those suspected of rebel sympathies. And these are some of the families who escaped their fury, homeless now with nothing to go back to. It will be a massive problem. At least 200,000 refugees, including 40,000 who once lived here in Debreceni. The appliance shop, the Main Street Cafe, even the mosque did not escape.
This kind of destruction, common all over Kosovo, might seem mindless, but it accomplished exactly what the Serbs had in mind. It emptied the town. The question now is, will the people who lived here come back to rebuild their homes and their lives if NATO troops are walking these streets?
This man, Selman is his name, doesn't think so. He sneaks back occasionally to check on the ruins of his property. But with or without NATO's presence, it will take 50 years, he says, to repair the damage to his house and to his heart. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Debreceni, Kosovo.
In Washington today, a response to criticism of nuclear secrets leaking to China. Energy Secretary Bill Richardson said he is asking for $8 million to increase the security of emails and classified documents at nuclear weapons labs. And he's going to ask the former director of the CIA, John Deutsch, to conduct a review of the program that lets scientists from foreign countries work at the labs. Two balloonists from Britain and Switzerland are now heading over the Caribbean after cruising across Mexico. Both men are said to be exhausted, but they're still on schedule to complete the first around-the-world balloon flight this coming Saturday in North Africa. When we come back, making cars that are safer, faster, cheaper, and cleaner. A closer look.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine
Have you seen Transitions lenses lately? Indoors, the changing tint is clear. Outdoors, they're the darkest Transitions lenses ever. For all-day comfort and convenience, Transitions lenses, right in any light. Now available at Pearl Vision. Call 1-800-YES-EYES for the Pearl Vision nearest you. Nobody cares for eyes better than Pearl.
3 minutes from now, a heart attack victim will be rushed into this emergency room. Medication will be injected. IV fluids will be needed. The patient will be protected from infection. Breathing will be assisted. And one more life will be saved.
Mrs. Hanson? Yes. Hi, I'm Dr. Moore. Her husband's doing fine. Oh, I'm so glad.
Thanks to advanced medical techniques and a material we call plastic.
I've never seen anything like Pergo.
It's a great concept in flooring.
It's very beautiful because it does look like the natural wood.
It's very simple to install.
You can have it done in basically a weekend.
It has a triple warranty against fading, stain, and wear.
Pergo is made to float over an existing floor.
You can even put Pergo over tile. It's that versatile.
It's beautiful as well as practical, and it's at a great price.
Very excited to have Pergo in my department and with Home Depot.
You'll find Pergo at the guaranteed low price every day at the Home Depot.
3, 2. There is a conspiracy spreading across the country. Its members see things no one else can. What they're watching looks like a movie, but it's a movie premiere that can't be seen anywhere else. And they can access thousands of movies a month. Hell! They must possess a technology that is not of this earth. Who are these people? Let's get out of here. DirecTV, what are you looking at?
We are going to take a closer look tonight at the future of automobiles. There is a race right now to develop a car that has all the comfort and speed of a regular car, but without the pollution. Automobile manufacturers have spent billions on everything from battery-powered cars to one with solar panels. Now they seem to have settled on what was once an exotic technology, fuel cells. Today, Daimler Chrysler unveiled its entrant into the fuel cell race. Here's ABC's Bob Woodruff.
Daimler Chrysler's newest car can travel at speeds up to 90 miles an hour. It does not use gasoline, it produces no pollution, and it could go on sale soon.
We hope that by 2004, we will be able to deliver the first cars to our customers.
The car uses an advanced fuel cell technology.
Liftoff on Apollo 11.
It's the same idea used by the space program for the last 30 years. But Daimler Chrysler has simplified the system so that it fits in this tiny Mercedes, mostly underneath the floor.
This is how it works. Hydrogen gas from the fuel tank and oxygen from the air are forced into this stack of fuel cells, each of which is about the size of a compact disc.
Inside the fuel cell, the hydrogen tries to rush across this membrane to get to the oxygen, but only the protons get through. The electrons have to take a different path, and it's those flowing electrons that create the electricity to power the wheels. The only byproduct is water. Now the race is on to see which automaker can produce the best fuel cell car. General Motors, BMW, Ford, and Toyota have all developed prototypes with similar technology.
This car essentially replaces the battery-powered vehicle because it has all the advantages of a battery-powered vehicle and lower emissions, but it doesn't have to be tethered to a cord the way a battery vehicle does.
At first, these cars will use methanol in the fuel cells, which is slightly polluting, and they will be more costly than regular cars.
The first choices we get are going to be very expensive. They're going to be very limited. They're not going to be perfect.
Perfect or not, cars like this may someday be mandatory. Already, California is requiring 10% of its vehicles to be non-polluting by 2003. This could be their answer. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Washington.
The other major technological push in the automobile industry is towards safety. As computer chips get smaller, faster, and cheaper, they fit into tires, doors, bumpers, and lots of other parts of a car, making driving safer. Here's ABC's Jack Smith.
It is still about the most dangerous thing we do every day,
But driving may get a lot safer because of brand new technology. The latest? Guidance systems that prevent skidding. The lead car has it, the rear car does not.
At most driving speeds, this technology will assist your ability to control the vehicle and turn it and keep it on the road in the intended direction.
Inside the car, an onboard computer 4 times more powerful than any used in cars today senses when a skid is about to happen. It then briefly takes over and brakes individual wheels for a critical fraction of a second.
Now let's say we're coming up to a little curve here, and you're taking it a little bit too fast.
The computer took over there, modulated all the brakes, and modulated the power of the engine to bring us through that curve as smooth as you just saw.
It does come with an off switch, but watch what happens on the same slushy course without the anti-skid system. It is now just in a few luxury cars, but could be as common as anti-lock brakes within 2 years, adding only a few $100s to a car's price.
We believe very much that this is a safety feature of the future which everyone should have on their cars.
And this is just the start of a revolution in computer-assisted driving. Engineers are also working on what's called adaptive cruise control. Sensors slow you down if you get too close to the car in front.
Feel that?
Yes.
That was automatic.
That was the car braking itself.
Car braking itself.
Other safety features in the works: smart steering wheels connected to sensors on the side of the car that can prevent you from swerving into traffic in the next lane, and smart tires with sensors embedded inside so onboard computers can react even sooner. So many safety devices, there's concern that drivers may be tempted to become reckless.
No matter how smart the car gets, there's no substitute for a smart driver.
Absolutely. You can't overcome the person behind the steering wheel.
But most think the coming wave of smart devices will not only make driving easier, but also a lot safer, preventing this from happening next time you go for a drive. Jack Smith, ABC News, Newark, New Jersey.
All things coming to an automobile showroom near you. When we come back, the sound of the pipes on St. Patrick's Day.
When you play the pipes, you must have a kilt on.
It's a long way to Tipperary, especially when you start in Tokyo.
Finally, a polished brass finish that holds up under siege. New brilliance for the kitchen. From Delta, it's guaranteed to shine for life. Delta, the faucet.
With all we have to do today, does it make sense to keep color on your hair for 30 minutes when you can get rid of the gray in 5? Just 5. Great color, body, and shine in 5 gentle minutes. Just 5. Smart hair color. Works for me.
The most innovative ride experience since Dodge Caravan opens soon. Universal Studios Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. And the new Dodge. We're crazy about rides.
Does tossing one of these into your tank kill germs? Well, here's one way to be sure. Lysol Continuous Action Automatic Toilet Cleaner. It not only cleans, it kills germs. No other automatic toilet cleaner kills more. You have our word on it.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
Every time you pick up a newspaper or magazine these days, it seems like they're talking about another new prescription drug. The latest is a medicine for arthritis pain called a COX-2 inhibitor.
Oh, a new prescription? I'd talk to my doctor.
If you're interested in this new COX-2 for arthritis, here are some questions you may want to ask your doctor. First, how does it compare to other products? This new COX-2 has not been proven to work better than the pain reliever doctors recommend most for everyday arthritis pain, Tylenol. Then ask your doctor about its safety profile. No other type of pain reliever is gentler to your stomach than Tylenol. Finally, check the cost. This new COX-2 can cost over $3 a day, almost $100 a month.
I don't want to take a prescription if I don't need one.
Your doctor has the details. When you hear about a new prescription drug, make sure you get all the facts.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Extra Strength Tylenol.
So, Murray, did you hear?
About Nick across the way?
Crime of his life.
Yeah, got sprayed.
Didn't he just get sprayed?
Yeah, took off his head, but didn't get the roots. Grew back stronger than ever. Whatever got him this time was different.
He had such strong roots. They were handsome roots. And deep.
I didn't think anything could take old Nick.
Hey, next time, it could be us.
Don't even think it.
Roundup kills even tough weeds down to the root. Roundup, no root, no weed, no problem.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, you can go as far as you want. We'll always be right down the lane. Days Inn. There you go.
Tonight, this woman is going to have a heart attack right in front of your eyes. And a doctor is going to give it to her. What happens after will amaze you. 2020 tonight.
A brief review of our top story, the investigation into that terrible train crash in Illinois. Investigators say all the evidence points toward the driver of the truck involved, and tire marks are being examined to see if it can be proved if the driver snaked his rig around lowered barriers as the train approached. Finally tonight, on a lighter note, it is of course St. Patrick's Day, and in this town they were busy observing it with a little help from not the first place you might expect. So much tradition, the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade. For 238 years, they've been wearing the green and playing the pipes on the streets of New York. There was one bagpipe band, just one, from overseas this year. So what's your guess? From Dublin? Galway? Nope. Tokyo. That's the Tokyo Pipe Band, which has won competitions all over the world, led by Seiichiro Otsuka. That's Mr. Otsuka and his 9-year-old son Sesuke, who blows a pretty mean horn himself. Mr. Otsuka is Japan's top diplomat in New York, and the first time he heard a bagpipe, he said, it brought tears to his eyes.
I was Japan's first consul general to Edinburgh, Scotland, and that's where I learned to play the pipes.
Mr. Otsuka says Americans think of the Japanese only as hard workers. We play hard, too, he said. There's the spirit of the samurai in the bagpipe, says Mr. Otsuka. Proof positive, everyone is Irish on St. Patrick's Day. And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later on 2020, the latest on the Amtrak crash in Illinois. And on Nightline, his neighbors want him back in jail, but he wants to live next door, a sex offender's plea. I'm Charles Gibson for all of us at ABC News. Good night.
Tomorrow, one man's words shaping how we think, talk, act, and feel. Why America's favorite writer is such an important part of our lives. Watch World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
These two guys had it good until one moved his girlfriend in.
Yep.
He's a freak. Something has got to give.
The madness has to stop,
or someone might get hurt. All new Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place after Dharma and Greg. See you tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
How long till you think somebody finds us?
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.
This is a very unbelievable, unfortunate, and isolated incident.
A security guard is critically wounded after being shot by robbers in the parking garage at the mall at Green Hills. Good evening, everyone. It all began just after 9 o'clock this morning as two jewelry store guards were transporting expensive Rolex watches.
That's when police say 3 men jumped the guards, shooting one and stealing the jewelry. It all took place on the upper deck of the parking garage on the Abbott Martin side of the mall. News 2's Andy Cordan was one of the first on the scene, and he joins us now with the latest. Andy?
And at this hour, we can tell you that the suspects are still on the